Hello YouTube, it's Lauren. I'm back with another video, and this one is actually going to be a Q&A to celebrate reaching 5k, 10k, and 15k subscribers here on YouTube. So a bit ago, I put up a community post for everyone to put some questions in that they would like me to answer, and I'm just gonna go through some of them and answer. So the first one is, how do you pronounce your channel name? So my channel name is A and Oops together. I was young when I created this name and I really like to say A, like Ayo, what's up? Like, that's dumb. But and I would like to say oops a lot. So I just put those two things together. And so you can say A oops, or you could just call me Lauren if you want, since it's easier. But yeah. So why did I start making YouTube videos? So I actually have another channel, same name, Oops, but without the spaces, and I think it has stars in the channel name. You could probably still go and find it if you looked for it, but I started that years ago and it actually got a bit of attention, but then I lost access to it when my email got hacked. And I started that because I would like to watch speed paints, and I was just thinking, oh, what if I just make my own speed paints? Maybe people will want to watch them. But I got lazy to add music and stuff, and it never really got the attention that I wanted it to. But luckily now I'm putting way more effort in my videos and it's really paying off, and thank you guys for that. So what is my recording setup? So my recording setup is actually recording with my phone, and I have a phone mount thing that connects to my desk and it holds up my phone over me drawing. So that's how I record my videos. So another question that is connected with the setup is, what are my specs? So I use an XP Pen 15.6-inch tablet. It isn't a touchscreen, which is why you never see me touch the screen with my fingers in my videos. I can only ever touch a screen with a pen. And as for brushes, they're all in my description, and I'm thinking of making more brushes for Clip Studio, maybe like a brush pack of like textured brushes, but I really only ever use my everything brush for, well, like everything, so I'm not sure how that's going to work for me, but I guess I could just make that for everyone else. So before we get to the next set of questions, I do want to talk about this piece that I'm working on for this video. So this is yet again another glam sheet commission. This time the client wanted specifically a full body in it. And this was around the time where I was kind of running late on my commissions because of my move. I actually informed all my commissioners about my move, and most of them knew that some of the stuff was going to take a little longer to finish because it's going to take time for me to settle in, and there would be days where I wouldn't have access to my computer. This was like maybe a week into settling in, and I really just wanted to finish a commission. And so, like the maniac I am, I sat down and I started this and I finished it in the same sitting. And it took me 5 whole hours. And so I had 5 hours of just straight footage, and I basically had to figure out how to condense all of that into under an hour. So I asked you all in the community tab which step of the process you would prefer to be sped up or kind of cut out. And most of you chose line art, which I was kind of happy about because I also would have chose line art. So most of the line art in this video is going to be sped up, or you might see some skips in there, and as well as the sketch, because I did sketch a lot of this character and I kind of scrapped most of them. You'll see in the lines later on that I end up scrapping another thing and then sketching another thing. And so like my sketching and my line art kind of like really blended in together, but at first I lined the bodies, basically the bases. Then after that I put clothes on the character. So like the line art process could be kind of broken down into the bodies versus the clothes, and I spent a lot of time on the clothes, so you're gonna see a lot of that sped up. I would have kept a lot more and sped it up even more, but I think stuff that is very sped up is a lot more jarring to watch when it's in this format, where you can see my hands working instead of it being the typical speed paint format where it's just a screen. So I can't just like crank it up to like 1,000% speed. So yeah, sorry that I had to cut out things, but hopefully in the future I could do like more focused videos where I don't have to cut out any steps. Maybe do some like two-parter videos where I finish the same piece in like the second part or something like that. But I hope you guys enjoy watching what I did end up leaving in the video. And in this part, actually, you're gonna keep seeing me take my hand out the screen while drawing this hand. And that's because I'm actually looking at my own hand in the mirror. My entire wall on my right side is just a mirror. And so I go and like pose my hand and I look at it. And I was having a bit of trouble like drawing this hand, so that is what I'm doing. And I guess maybe a question that I have for you for this video, because I do like to ask questions to initiate discussion in the comments, is do you look at yourself in the mirror or whatever when you're drawing? Or let's say you're struggling with a pose, do you actually try to pose it yourself and use yourself as a reference? Because I do that all the time. But yeah, anyway, on to the next set of questions. So now drawing related questions, I guess. What got you to start drawing, and how long have you been doing art? So what got me to start drawing was mainly video games and anime. So from a young age, I would watch a lot of anime and I would play video games like League of Legends and see the splash arts, and that is what really inspired me to start drawing. As for how long I've been drawing, I guess I've been doing this since I was like 11 or 12, which means it's basically been a decade because I'm turning 22 this month. Wow, that's like a lot longer than I thought. But yeah, I've been drawing since a very young age, and I remember my parents buying me sketchbooks and I would draw on those in class, and eventually I managed to save up enough birthday money to buy a Wacom Intuos. So when did I feel confident enough in my art to begin putting it on the internet? So this was basically immediately, like once I got a drawing tablet and I was able to put my art on Twitter and have a Twitter account, I almost immediately put it there. And even before I had a drawing tablet, I would do digital art with my mouse, and I can put some of them up on the screen for you guys to see, but I just put them on Twitter. I guess because I wanted attention. It wasn't necessarily confidence in my art that caused me to put it in the internet. I just wanted the attention because I was a kid. And you'll all be able to see some of my beginning art, some of my first sketches, some of my first digital art, so I hope you enjoy looking at that, because I certainly don't. And speaking of not liking some of my art, which pieces of my own art are my favorite and which ones are my least favorite? So I have a couple that I am really attached to. It was in my like era or phase where I was trying to emulate Kelsey Beckett's style, and Kelsey Beckett is an oil painter who does portraits. And I actually really like how these turned out, where I kind of studied her style a lot. And so these paintings, digital paintings, have a special place in my heart. As for the ones that are my least favorite, they're basically like the failed versions of my attempts at like Kelsey Beckett's style. And there's just something about these failed attempts that I never want to see. And I never want to look at them. Like I just put them in like a scraps folder or like a ew folder. So before I get deeper into the questions, I did want to talk more about this piece that I'm working on. This is, I think, actually a VTuber character who is supposed to be a mixture between a cat and a cow, and I absolutely love their design. I've actually drawn this character before, and you could see my reference photo is one of my other art pieces, but that was only a bust, and I didn't get to draw this character's outfit. But this time I got to draw 3 of their outfits, and it was so fun. Usually when I work, I have to do it in either 2 or 3 sittings, but I was just having so much fun with this character design that I was really able to just sit down and work on this for like the entire duration. And I was able to finish it, and it was so surprising, but my hand started to hurt. Gosh, it was just kind of like an insane experience because it's been a hot minute since the last time I really just sat down and actually finished a piece like entirely in one sitting. Do I have a go-to palette? So not exactly a palette, however, I almost always will go for yellow in every drawing. For some reason, I really attached my art to the color yellow, even though it's not even my favorite color. My favorite color is green, but green is a very difficult color to work with when it comes to shading and stuff because there's so many shades of green. But with yellow, there's just a little bit of an orangey shade, and then there's just like a straight yellow shade. And then there's like a lime green yellow. And I love all of them, but I mostly use the like school bus orangey yellow. And I don't know what it is about it that I just really love. So who is my favorite art YouTuber? In the past, I would watch a lot of Mark Brunet, aka QBrush. I would watch a lot of his tutorials, and they really helped me kind of learn some drawing rules. And nowadays I really like to watch Likelihood Art's Draw With Me videos. It's actually what inspired me to start doing these types of videos. I feel like I say videos too much. As for just general artists and not necessarily YouTubers, I really like Alphonse Muka's style, and I even wrote a paper on him in one of my art classes. And Araceli has been a huge inspiration when it comes to character design. And I learned a lot from their video on costume design and character design and all that. So go watch that entire series because that really helped me learn how to design a character. So have I ever made a manga / comic / webtoon before? So a lot of my original characters I've actually created for this webtoon that is supposed to be about aliens. And I'll put up a picture of my initial concept art of these characters that I made for this story. And think of it kind of like Vampire Diaries, Harry Potter, Percy Jackson, Teen Wolf, that kind of style, I guess, with the supernatural stuff, hiding something about yourself, but with aliens. So these characters are supposed to be either dorm mates or flatmates, and they're in college and they're just trying to live out their lives, but the fact that they are actually aliens kind of just keeps getting in the way and is bringing some chaos to their lives, and that is my idea with it. But it is still super early in development. I haven't even started writing the script. Like, I've barely touched on the beginnings of the story. I've only built the world and the characters, and I'm still very much working on finalizing the character designs because the picture that you saw is only the initial designs, and I've already changed them quite a bit over the last couple of years. I don't know, it's just kind of weird to think about now because this is something that I was very excited to kind of start doing back in 2020 is when I came up with the idea, and Now I'm kind of doubting my abilities on how well I could do a webtoon, or even if I want to pursue a webtoon anymore. And I think if I don't turn the story and characters into a webtoon, I might look into maybe making my own indie game. But that is very like brave of me to say because I have no idea how game dev works. But like it doesn't hurt to dream big, right? And if you liked how those characters look, I actually have my first ever sticker sheet that I created, and it's of those characters. So if you liked them enough to go buy some stickers, there should be a link in the description of my shop, and that would just be a huge support because I do need to sell all of those sheets at one point. So how do I stay focused while drawing? I actually don't like to listen to music too much when I draw. For the most part, I am usually in a call with friends, and so I am either talking to them or they're talking to me and I'm listening to them, or I'm listening to a podcast of people talking. And I feel like this stemmed from the fact that I would always draw in my sketchbook in schools, and I was very quiet and introverted. And I was never really one to talk in class, so while I would draw in class, I kind of got the weird habit of like eavesdropping on people. Or I guess it's not that weird, everyone eavesdrops, but basically I would eavesdrop on a lot of conversations, and that kind of became like my thing that helped me focus. Which it kind of feels weird when I say it, but yeah, I just like to hear people talk, and it helps me focus. What are some of my favorite ways to stay creative during an art block? So currently I am kind of feeling an art block coming because I'm feeling a little bit of a burnout from commissions and working, and my favorite way is to actually just play video games, because I feel like some people forget that video games are almost entirely art, and there are some amazing pieces of art in video games that can really inspire you if you really like sit back and look at it in an artistic perspective. And if I'm not playing video games, I like to watch speed paints. I like to watch people draw because that helps to inspire. So around this time in the recording, I want to encourage you to do some hand stretches, because since I was doing this all in one sitting, my hand started to hurt like a lot. And so I had to take a break and do my hand stretches. So if you're drawing right now, stop and do your hand stretches. Look up some videos or diagrams of which stretches to do and just do it, because you don't want arthritis. Also, look at these boobies. How do I study anatomy? So I actually don't study anatomy that much, but I have watched a few anatomy videos, and I kind of just slowly but surely over the years kind of started catching on to the specific rules of like proportions and like anatomy rules. Like I've never really sat down and like drawn skeletons or drawn muscles or anything like that, but I do know certain rules that I can apply to my art. What is something that you struggle to draw? So I actually struggle to draw teeth a lot and fangs. I don't know what it is about them, but every single one I draw, I feel like it looks weird, or it doesn't look like the way I want it to. And I guess I still struggle a bit with drawing feet or like shoes and stuff, because I don't draw them that often. What's one art advice you got that was life-changing in a way? So I don't know who I heard this from, but I once heard someone say or read someone tweet it out or something to treat sketches like sketches. So, you know, sketches are supposed to be messy and unrefined. I used to treat sketches like they had to be perfect or something like that, and I would just keep on sketching and sketching and sketching until it looked like what I wanted it to be. And then once I moved on to line art, I didn't like how the lines looked, and I liked how the sketch looked more because I dedicated more time to it. And so once I heard that you're supposed to treat a sketch like a sketch, so make it messy, don't work on it for too long, that helped my process so much, because I started to have the mindset of like, okay, this looks kind of ugly in the sketch, but it's all right because I can fix it while I line, or I can fix it while I render. It doesn't have to be perfect. And that basically quickened my process a lot. And I think I still spend the least amount of time on sketching. Maybe, I don't know, I don't really keep track of time when I draw. What's the worst art advice someone told you? So this is something that I hear a lot from like art professors or art teachers, and it's to always put meaning into your work. And I kind of hate that advice because I don't believe that there always has to be meaning in art. Like, I think it's completely valid for you to just draw something for the sake of it being pretty or it to be cute. I don't think there has to be some hidden meaning or deep story to an artwork or art piece. Just draw what you want to draw. And that is essentially all the questions that I wanted to answer today. I'm sorry if I didn't answer your questions. There were just some that I really couldn't think of an answer to, so I left them out. But maybe in the future I'll answer them because I've had more time to think on it. So when I was editing this video, I actually had to cut out a lot of stuff that I wasn't originally going to cut out, because when I started watching the footage, I noticed that my face would peek into the frame sometimes when I would lean in, and I definitely cut those parts out because I'd be looking crusty while I work on commissions, okay? But anyway, I did buy a new phone mount or phone arm thingy for my desk because the other one was so wobbly. Like, sometimes I get really aggressive when I'm coloring something in or filling something in, and so I don't want you guys to feel like you're in an earthquake whenever you're watching this video, even though a lot of you did say that you don't necessarily watch it, you more so listen while you draw. But either way, for the people who do watch, I didn't want the footage to be so shaky, so I bought like a sturdier phone arm, and I was just kind of getting more used to the positioning that I had it in. And so like I would lean in sometimes, and I think I still left in a few bits and pieces there where you can kind of see like my hair peeking into the frame, and I'm sorry for that, okay? But yeah, I had to cut out certain parts of even the overpainting and the sketch because of that reason. Also, this was 5 hours of footage that I shrunk down to like 30 minutes or something, and yeah, it's just inevitable that I had to leave some parts out. But I do have the full time lapse from Clip Studio Paint posted to Patreon, so if you want that, go to Patreon. You do have to be in the $3 tier if you want to see time lapses that are exclusive to patrons, because sometimes I don't record the sketching part, but I do have the Clip Studio Paint time lapse for it, and I just upload that to Patreon. So yeah, if you're gonna go see those things, you can go there. And in this part, you can see that I write, no, I was on the wrong side. This is because I drew the ear accessories or earrings on the wrong side, because initially I think I sketched this like when it was flipped, and I do flip my canvas a lot, and sometimes I forget like which one is the correct orientation. And this character design has a lot of like asymmetry in it, and so I got confused sometimes, and so I had to like erase the earrings and put them on the other ear, and I was just like because like I was so close to finishing it, and this kind of like this mistake added on an extra maybe 5 or 10 minutes to my workload, and I was just so upset by it because at this point, even though I did my hand stretches, my hands were still hurting. Okay, like it's painful to be in that like holding pen position for 5 hours straight. And you can see that I also put like make the braids shorter or something, or make the legs longer sometimes, or add the tail. And these are things that I notice while I'm lining or sketching or something, and I just write it down right next to it, kind of like as a note to self, where I'm like, okay, when I'm overpainting or doing the finishing touches, this is something that I should do. Or like, you know, like right now I'm making the braids shorter. So yeah, that's really helpful if you tend to kind of forget of the things that you tell yourself, okay, I'm gonna do this later on, you know, and then you forget it because you just forget it. And so write that down somewhere on the screen, because you're always going to see that, because before saving you should always be checking if there's anything on the screen that you don't want to be there. And if there's like words, you know, you read them and then you're like, oh shoot, yeah, I'm supposed to make the braid shorter, I'm supposed to make her legs longer, let me do that right now before saving. And it's just a good reminder. And I also really enjoy drawing these little cows, cow pins on the hair. I don't know what they're called, but yeah, they're super fun because they're so cute, and it makes me want to draw even more cows. And in the finished piece that you see at the end of the video, I actually ended up drawing even more cow stickers because they were in the sketch, but for some reason when I finished this the first time, I didn't include the bigger stickers, and then the commissioner was like, no, like, where are the cow stickers? I really like this. And so I was like, oh shoot, I didn't draw the cow stickers, you know. And so I went back and drew them, and it wasn't like a bother or anything. It was just really fun to draw the cow stickers. This video was really fun to make, and thank you for asking your questions. Maybe in the future, if people have more questions, I could do like a second Q&A or a more themed, specific type of Q&A. But for the moment, that's really it for this video. So thank you for watching. If you enjoy my content, I do have a Patreon. If you want to support that, you can get a lot of goodies just for the $1 tier, and you can get like early access videos, or you can see my sketches that I don't post anywhere else and all that stuff. But that's only if you want to, you know, you definitely don't have to spend money. But aside from that, don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to. And yeah, thank you for watching. Goodbye.